Tim and Ricky here with TappedOut.net, and today we're going to be building some sealed decks with the new set Amonkhet.
I'm really excited to get started. We're going to rip packs and determine which cards we like and which cards we don't for building our decks.
Yeah, let us know in the comment section what you agree with, what you don't during our deck construction. We'll battle off camera and come back and let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
So when you build your sealed deck, you're going to want around 23 spells, looking at about 16, 15, 17, somewhere in that range to be creatures, and the other 7 or 8 to be removal and or combat tricks. Now you're going to have a 40 card deck in the end, and ultimately, usually you have around 2 colors in your deck, and occasionally you'll splash a third, but when first starting out, 2 colors is usually the way to go. So I looked at my blue cards first. I had 2 Vizier of Tumbling Sands, a 1/3 for 3 mana, with the ability to untap another target permanent. This could be used to ramp your mana. They also cycle for 2, and when they cycle, they untap another target permanent. This could be used to blow your opponent out in combat. I had a few other cards that drew me towards blue a little bit. Cartouche of Knowledge gives a creature flying, and you draw a card, and also gives +1/+1. Shimmer Scale Drake, a 3/4 flyer for 5 that cycles for 2. All in all, some decent cards, but nothing I was too excited about. Then I looked at my red cards. I had a Trial of Zeal, which is a good removal spell. You can also use it to do 3 damage to your opponent. This, combined with the Cartouche of Zeal, could be a good combo later in the game to buy back the Trial. I also had an On-Crop Crasher, a 3/2 haste that when you exert, prevents a creature from blocking this turn, and a few other good, solid playables in red. My white cards were probably the least impressive. I had a Top Crop Elite, which is a good flyer and buffs your whole team, and I also had a couple Gust Walkers who aren't bad 2-drops. Compulsory Rest was probably the best of the bunch, being one of the best common removal spells in the set, but all in all I ended up deciding that it wasn't quite good enough. Green was my obvious best color with Ronus the Indomitable, Death Touch Indestructible 5/5 God. 2 in a green to give another creature +2/+0 and trample. Should pair greatly with my Scaled Behemoths in this color as well. 6/7 Hexproof for 6 mana. I also opened a Channeler Initiate. 2 mana, 3/4. When it enters, you put 3 -1/-1 counters on target creature, and you can tap Channeler Initiate to remove a -1/-1 counter and add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. This can be used to ramp your mana or to provide yourself with another good beater in combat. Black seemed to be the second best color after green due to the fact that there were some good removal spells, Trial of Ambition, Splendid Agony, Never Return. The Trial of Ambition could be bounced back to my hand later in the game because I opened 2 Cartouche of Ambitions, and these would also go well on the 6/7 Scaled Behemoth that I opened in green. Soul Stinger isn't a bad creature, and neither is Horror of the Broken Lands in my opinion, so I opted to go with the black to pair with the green for a grinded out style rock deck that I think could outvalue my opponents and hopefully lead me to victory in the later game. These are the final 23 cards I decided to go with in my deck. A lot of the key ones to note are cards I already mentioned as my favorites from black and green, and then there were a few other questionable ones. So let us know what you think in the comment section about my final choices.
First, I noticed my red removal with Magma Spray, Electrify, and Deem Worthy, along with some powerful aggressive creatures led by the Glory Bringer. It looked to be a sweet choice. I believe that this dragon is the best card in my pool, and with the removal really drew me into red. My white seemed to pair well with the aggressive red. It appeared that I could go wide with many low casting cost creatures, such as 2 Gustwalkers and 2 Sacred Cats. It was pretty cool opening a Regal Caracal, who buffs all other cats +1/+1 and lifelink. In the end, the white cards lacked removal, and would not hold up in the late game scenarios. The blue I opened did not look great. With only 5 creatures, it did not seem to pair well with my aggro red cards. I do like the Aven Initiate, because it's a flyer and can come back later in the game, as well as the Shimmer Scale Drake, who cycles. The 4 counterspells can work as removal, but I'd rather not hold mana up while earlier summoned creatures are beating my face in. My green cards had a lot of ramp, or ways to generate mana faster than 1 land per turn. However, there were only 2 large creatures to play with all that mana, the Scaled Behemoth and the Sheffet Monitor. Pulling a Channeler Initiate was cool, a cheap mana dork who can grow into a 3/4 by adding mana of any color to my mana pool. Overall, the green was missing any way to kill creatures. Besides Stinging Shot, which only hurts flyers, and 1 combat trick and Shed Weakness, I just couldn't see green getting the job done if my opponent plays a bomb. So finally I decided to pair my red cards with black. I opened some versatile cards that play well with cycle and discard effects, such as the Ruthless Sniper, Merciless Javelineer, and Pitiless Vizier. I don't mind cycling a Wasteland Scorpion, since I can get creatures back to my hand with Gravedigger and Wandering Death. I love playing useful rare cards in my deck, and Never to Return works as a solid removal card, and later I get a zombie. The Rakdos color combinations seem to have enough curve fillers to play with, without looking too janky, and hopefully it plays well. This is the deck I decided on. Let me know what you think of my choices in the comments section.
Hey, just finished our sealed match. Ricky just kicked my butt about 4 out of 5 games.
Yeah, that's
4 out of 5. I got stomped. Glorybringer was a heck of a card to deal with, and he also kept drawing it. There was at one point I was like, you gotta be kidding me! If you draw this dumb card one more time, I'm gonna quit. Nah, but even when I did kill it, you would bring it back with Gravedigger or
Wandering Death.
Wandering Death. Yeah, that card surprised me at being pretty good with his cycle synergies, and also just the 2-for-1 with being able to get 2 creatures back, especially when one of them's a Glorybringer. It's a pretty nice addition. What other cards were you pleased with, or maybe not so happy with? Anything that stood out to you?
I think the Ruthless Sniper, I worked it with Merciless Javelineer. They both I was able to discard and then pay the 1 and put 2 -1 counters on a creature.
Yeah.
Was able to kill off some of his creatures and swing in for lethal damage. Also the Wasteland Scorpion, the Cycling Scorpion, he helped me out a lot because he had that Scaled Behemoth, the Hexproof Crocodile, and I was able to hold him at bay with a little Death Toucher.
Yeah, that stunk because that was kind of my big payoff. I was more like a control-y, grind you out type of deck, and when I did get to play my big finisher, my Scaled Behemoth, to have it be held back by a 2/2 Scorpion with Death Touch, it kind of stunk. So I have to agree. I think those were the shining cards from your deck. The Ruthless Sniper made combat really, really difficult with the ability to cycle at instant speed and maybe put a -1 counter on a guy. So yeah, I thought the deck had some nice synergies, despite being a sealed deck where sometimes you don't get such cool synergies. Mine was a little more lacking. I had some more just kind of good stuff cards in here. Trying to get up to that Scaled Behemoth, hopefully maybe put a cartouche and get some lifelink was kind of the idea, as we discussed earlier. But really the best card, I think, among them all that I didn't expect to be very good or expected to be about mediocre was Unburdened, the Mind Rot effect with the ability to cycle for 2. Card got your hand a couple times, and then when I didn't need it, I was able to cycle it away, and it worked with some of my cycler guys that had some synergies. So I thought that card played very well in the deck. Other than that, I had a lot of fun. It's always sweet to rip packs. If you have any suggestions for the decks, hit us up.
Yeah, hit us in the comments section, and thanks for watching, guys.